Welcome to Josh's House of Nerd podcast.
Hello, Nerd Nation. I'm Josh, and I welcome you to the podcast. And YouTube, we do not have a problem. Grab a cold evergreen gobble of blue milk and make yourself comfortable here at our House of Nerd. Now for tonight's sponsor, Bob's famous freeze-dried space soup. Do you like space? Do you like soup? Do you like tasty air? Well, give this freeze-dried beauty a try with zero liquid and lots of hard bits of chicken that are as light as air. Bob's famous freeze-dried space soup. Soup so good and light and airy that you'll feel like you're eating nothing. Because you are.
Okay.
All right.
All it's got me thinking of is when he was spitting up those chunks in the capsule.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Actually, the hot dog gave me kind of an idea to try this one.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I couldn't say it. All right. Okay. All right. Today on the podcast, we are on the topic of the month of May, which is movies based on a true story or loosely based on a true story. And this week we're talking about my pick, the 1995 movie from director Ron Howard, which is Apollo 13. And Apollo 13, if you don't know, is about the mission that would go to the moon. And on the way to the moon, they have an explosion that makes them have to come home. This movie is starring Tom Hanks, Bill Paxton, Kevin Bacon, and Ed Harris. And let's talk about that harrowing space movie that I picked for us to speak of. I really like this movie. I've always liked this movie. That's why I picked it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
yeah, I think our next month's thing should be like genre should be movies we hate, and you just have to pick movies you hate.
So romantic comedies again.
Well, for you, I guess.
Every person gets to pick their own category of movies they hate. Cool. Oh boy, not too long ago that would have been what's that movie you just watched? The Faces of the World. Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Actually, the ultimate movie that would be Sucker Punch. Sorry, it just is.
Fair enough.
I absolutely love Apollo 13 for lots and lots of reasons. I think the primary one being that I have a deep love of space, of the space program of NASA, of that whole setup, and it's just it's cool to see it come together in a film. And it just I don't know that I can't say Apollo 13 sparked that love. But I watched this when I was a kid, and it was a cool movie. It was like, holy cow. And then to find out afterwards it was a true story, because nobody told me when we were watching it was a true story. They probably hit on Apollo 13 during school a little bit, but this is the Montana public school system. So, take that as you will. But this film has a really, really good spot in my heart. Just huge experience with it, and fantastic backdrop for Ron Howard to work his magic, I think.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't think this was his first like big one, but it's one of the first. Like, I know Splash was the first big one, but
what about Backdraft?
Backdraft. This is kind of one of his. This is one of his big tent poles and stuff, which he, I agree, he knocked it out of the park on this one. That's great. I was gonna just say that I agree with you that I was also really like space a lot too. That's why I liked it a lot. I used to dream about read books on Space Lab and all those, things up there when I was growing up as well.
Did you ever watch that not horrible film, but that really campy film called Space Camp?
I love Space Camp, and I do know it's very campy.
Yeah, and launched into. Yeah, I watched that one many times.
It's got Leah Thompson in it from Back to the Future.
If you want crazy whiplash, watch that, and then watch Space Cowboys. So you go from early kids, and then the exact same plot, but geriatrics.
Without hot Leah Thompson in it.
So we got pediatrics,
but got Clint Eastwood.
Geriatrics. We're only missing bariatrics in space.
Bariatrics. Is that when you have someone named Barry up there? Like,
No, it's fat people, Josh.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's a fat person joke.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not fat, so I don't get that.
That lunar module used to fit 3. It'll fit 1 on a good day. They still have to pack enough food for 3, though.
They do.
Oh, that's horrible. For bariatrics,
wouldn't they just eat? Wouldn't they just take 3 and come back with 2? I mean,
it's horrible. We're gonna get in so much trouble. We're gonna be canceled.
You kind of already have to be famous to be canceled.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna be canceled by our 54 people.
No. We'll get famous. Somebody will drag up this episode 30 years later.
Yeah, this is an episode that'll get you canceled eventually if you're lucky. Like pretty much it's the measure of success.
Aw, I can't wait to be canceled by this. Aw, somewhere in the future. When I'm famous.
But excellent film. And then the Ron Howard angle, before we go too much further and focus actually, on the movie. And I know we'll talk about it a little bit, but Ron Howard just goes out of his way to make this a very tense, like, what happens. If you know the story of Apollo 13, you go into the film knowing, okay, everyone gets home safely. But for Ron Howard to know that and know that the audience knows this and still create the level of tension and anxiety that exists throughout this film, I think it just speaks to his ability.
Mm-hmm. The one thing that I think Ron Howard did really well with this is I read an article just a little while ago about how the main guy, that just went out of my head, the guy who Tom Hanks is portraying, he said when he saw the movie that he was so impressed by the movie because of how realistic it was. He actually thought that a lot of the footage that they did was actual footage. Like he's like, where did you guys get this from? I don't remember having any footage like this. And that's how realistic that the crew for Ron Howard had made this movie look. Sometimes it's hard to tell if it's not real or not, even though like some of those rocket launches are completely done by the special effects.
And for a period piece, they did a fantastic job. Good enough that the anachronisms goof page on IMDb is picking out things like the color of the keyboard in the lunar module. Like they did so well in a lot of the period piece that there's not massive glaring historical errors. There's a few small ones here and there, but I mean to pull off a 1970, 1970 the year in 99? 95.
95.
Yeah, I mean, to pull off a period piece with a budget, they had 52 million. So it's just phenomenal. I mean, enough to where, again, they're picking out the little things. That's all they can actually pick on because everything else was pretty solid.
And that's clear. I mean, and you can, it definitely, you look at it, there's nothing that's glaring. A few things on a few of the movies that we've watched, you could tell that, every once in a while you'd pick up on something like, yeah, are you sure that's, period specific? And there's nothing that was glaring on this one. I think they did a really good job on that as well. But that just shows you how good Ron Howard is in what he does. And, one of the things that I thought was, one of the things that he did was, that I thought that was really, really cool is that he once again used his brother Clint Howard in the movie. I don't know if you guys realize that he used, like in almost every movie that Ron Howard's ever done, Clint Howard, his brother, is always in it. And he was the guy.
I didn't know that.
Do you know who Clint Howard is? He was one of the flight control people. He was one of the flight control people he's the one that told them they had to turn the batteries off. And he's like, he's one of the first people who's like, that's what I'm seeing from the chair, and stuff. He has been he's kind of his own institution when it comes to Ron Howard movies. You got to look for Clint Howard somewhere, or he sometimes shows up in a lot of like really bad like sci-fi movies. If you saw him, you'd recognize him. Trust me. And stuff.
Yeah, I had to look him up, and you're right. He's in a lot of really horrible horror and science fiction movies.
Yep.
How to Eat Fried Worms. Oh no, that's a kid's one. sounds like a horrible.
One of his first TV spots, or one of his first TV shows that he ever did, was actually Star Trek, the original Star Trek. He played kind of a younger kid that had a huge brain, if I remember correctly. Kind of like this, like a evil genius for Star Trek. Anyways, I just thought it was funny. Every time I see him in one of his brother's movies, it just makes me laugh. But overall, this is, speaking of that, he got an excellent crew. This cast is just unbelievable.
Well, before we leave
go
the
ahead.
director, I was going to say that him and the writers do a really good job of like creating hero moments, like, and interspersing them throughout the movie, kind of to keep the pacing up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just obviously everything that happens in the actual ships as they're encountering these issues, but also stuff like the little stuff like Gary Sinise when his character is, sitting in the simulator trying to figure it out, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to take a break?" He's like, "Those guys don't get to. I'm not going to." It's like that's just really good character writing, and just like, hey, obviously that's what he would do, but still, that's
and even for the
kind of a
smaller
cool moment.
characters, his wife,
Yeah,
was it Kathleen Quinlan, giving her, some of the powerful lines, and like when she's talking, I think it's to her daughter about it, just very powerful. I think you're absolutely right. Hero moments is a good way of describing it, and Howard seems to sparse those out and give them to everyone that matters. They've got something that happens. I mean, Ed Harris for sure just blows it away.
mm-hmm.
But then I love Ed Harris and everything he does, so
Into that.
I can't be too upset. Can't be too upset.
Yeah.
No,
okay, so we can move on.
That's actually a really good point. I didn't really think about those hero moments, but it seems like everyone, a lot of the main characters have at least one in all these different scenes, and that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like your big excitement pieces and stuff. I think that's awesome.
Okay. All right. So now we can move on from Ron Howard, it seems. I think we could have a podcast about Ron Howard and his role in Arrested Development.
Okay.
You're gonna you're the one that's gonna be able to talk to that. I don't even know what his role is.
Yeah. You've got to. It's in season 4, which almost doesn't exist, but that's okay. So, the Apollo 13. There's, I talked about not having a ton of anachronisms, like issues with the time period, but that doesn't mean there wasn't inaccuracies with regards to like the whole Apollo 13. And some of those inaccuracies, and I think it hits back on that hero moment you just talked about. If I could talk about it for just a second, is if you remember when Lovell is talking about piloting manually and he's got the moon lined up in his target window, and it kind of seems like this whole, he comes up with this idea and he has to run it by Houston, and everyone's like, "Oh, I guess it'll work," and goes on there. That whole strategy was actually something that's practiced by the lunar teams as an issue of instrument failure. And that was one of the moments where I didn't think of it in the term of the hero moments until you brought it up, but it definitely was a moment to highlight the crew instead of like highlight the process, process over people or people over process. You could make a film about the process of Apollo 13, but I think Ron Howard made a film about the people of Apollo 13.
Yeah, so they're taking artistic liberties in order to create those hero moments. And that just makes it better cinema, because I think, it'd be more of a documentary if they did it the other way.
It's like, "You've practiced this before, Jim Lovell." "Oh yeah, I guess I have." "Okay,
Yeah.
Here we go." And you get Tom Hanks delivering documentary style. That'd be fun to watch.
It'd be fine.
I don't know. Tom Hanks could probably pull it off still.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
If anyone could pull that off, it'd be Tom Hanks.
He is a treasure.
He is a national treasure. It'll be a sad day when he dies.
Jesus, this got dark quick.
Aren't we still waiting? Yeah. No, never mind. I was looking at the latest celebrity deaths and the rule of 3 that everyone keeps pushing,
Well,
Yeah.
which is just dark and sad. But no, I hope we have him for a lot more films because he is a fantastic actor, and I think you see his full range in Apollo 13, and his range in a very small area. For a good chunk of that film. Like imagine, being stuck in a little room and having to give a fantastic stellar performance and get all that across. I mean,
well, not
I
only
think that's
that,
where
dude, they
the
were in the
skill comes out.
Vomit Comet doing a lot of this stuff too. Like when they were portraying like the weightlessness and stuff like that.
They're doing
the airplane
Vomit
that
Comet?
went up and down to simulate weightlessness.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, they had to deliver lines of doing that too.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Do you know that John Travolta was offered the part before and turned it down?
Oh, thank
Of
goodness.
Lovell?
Are you serious?
Oh,
I'm
thank
serious.
goodness.
Yeah, he was initially offered the role of Lovell, but declined.
Oh my goodness.
I like John Travolta, don't get me wrong, but I'm glad.
I mean, who knows? On a Ron Howard picture with the writing and stuff like that, it's possible that it would have changed Travolta's trajectory.
Travolta's career, yeah.
Yeah, maybe not. Who knows?
Or we could have had man, what's that film with Hugh Jackman? Oh, Hugh Jackman and John Travolta. Now I can't remember it.
I don't know.
There's a movie with Hugh Jackman and John Travolta.
Yeah. Where Hugh Jackman plays a hacker.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
Swordfish.
Swordfish. Oh my goodness.
If
I
we got
totally
Swordfish
forgot
in
about that.
space.
Swordfish in
Yeah,
space.
with Halle Berry and is it Halle Berry? Yeah,
Yes.
Halle Berry, Don Cheadle.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why you would think that John Travolta's the one that would change the script by having him there. Like the choice of actor doesn't change necessarily the script
No.
and the movie.
No,
It's just
Yeah,
him
I'm-
delivering the lines. Would you have believed it?
Oh,
Yeah,
hell
exactly.
no.
Maybe.
I don't. He
you know,
does.
and
he
that's
likes
the
to
benefit of
emote
the doubt, I
differently.
guess.
That's the only reason.
It would be I think it would be a different movie. It would play a
Yes.
little different, but
Yes.
I can't say off the top of my head that it would be worse. I mean, maybe.
I mean, it could be Battlefield Earth worse.
So
Well, that's
now,
not Travolta. That's. I mean, yeah, his acting is weird in that, but that's also like that
for
director.
for the background image on this part of the podcast, Josh,
don't
you
know.
need to have the John Travolta meme
I
where
don't
he's looking
know.
around in the lunar capsule.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm defending John Travolta
Yeah.
in Apollo 13.
No,
but I
you
just
wanna
like
give
it-
him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
It's
come
like,
on.
given a good, well-written role, which
Yeah.
he's definitely gotten the shaft in the past.
No,
Would
I'm
he have
good.
been able to pull it out and change his career? And who knows?
He was having a pretty good career at that time. I mean, he did. He was.
How far was that? When was Pulp Fiction? That'd be the question.
90, 93, 94, wasn't it?
Yeah, 94.
And then
Okay, so
Swordfish.
yeah,
95.
he did-
So it was right then. Yeah,
he
it
did
was
Pulp
right.
Fiction right before then, and he did great in that. So
That was Travolta's comeback.
And that's probably
I
why
believe.
maybe they offered to him. And then he did Face Off 3 years later.
yeah.
Oh, Nicolas Cage.
It's a fun.
He was
movie,
great
but it's
in
not
Get
great.
Shorty,
True, he was.
I don't know that I ever
and
saw
that was the
Get
same
Shorty.
year. Oh, it's good. We'll put it on the list at some point.
Is that the gangster one?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've seen it. It's a comedy, right? I don't
Yeah.
remember tons about it, so I should probably rewatch it anyways, but I think I've seen it.
Anyway, enough about Travolta tainting up our Apollo 13 conversation.
You know what's really funny? I read a similar article, and they didn't read. They said a thing about Travolta. They were saying that because when Ron Howard got the director, it did say that one of his first picks was Tom Hanks, just because he knew that Tom Hanks was in space. It just didn't. And that's the way it kind of worded it,
Wait.
which tells me that they probably offered it to somebody else in the middle of it too. Probably threw it out there to a couple of people
Yeah.
and see who would bite. But thankfully, we had Tom Hanks bite. Some of the other actors that are just fantastic in this. Paxton. I mean, I've always loved Paxton, especially ever since the Terminator days or Aliens days. I mean, he's just good. Man.
That Twister, man.
What's that?
Twister was the first film. Twister was the first film I saw Paxton. No, wait, no. Apollo 13 would have been the first film, and then Twister was the second one that I really saw and like made a connection to. Oh, this is Bill Paxton. So I didn't even watch Aliens till much later, but Bill Paxton in Twister is solid, and I think that's definitely a dramatic role pulled from Apollo 13 experience. I would think.
Right.
Maybe.
And then, of course, you have the glorious Kevin Bacon and stuff.
Yep. I mean, this is the number one, well, like almost the number one reason why you can get 7 Ways to Bacon is because of this movie. It just intersects him with everybody else.
Yeah, with every big name actor. It's not Tremors that gets him there.
Nope, Tremors didn't have. He was the big name actor in Tremors.
No, you had Shania Twain in there too.
What?
Not as
no,
an actor.
Reba McEntire.
Reba
Yes.
McEntire.
Reba.
There we go.
Oh my god!
And then it had,
Sorry, give me a second.
and then it had the dad from Family Ties.
Like I said, Kevin Bacon was the big named actor in that movie.
No, it was the dad from Family Ties. Jeez.
He did do a good job. Him and Reba.
Yeah, he did a really good job playing the bumpkin that just wants out.
I mean, Shania Twain.
Shut up. My love will go on.
Wait, that's not even. Oh my god, that's Celine Dion. You dork.
I know.
I'm starting to think you can't tell white women apart.
This feels like one of those T-shirts that's got like
the cancel episode for sure.
That like it's got like a live long and prosper, and then it says Gandalf underneath it or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to bring up this episode and talk about my apparent disregard and racism towards white pop singers.
I mean,
white country pop singers.
Celine Dion is not a country pop singer.
What is Celine Dion?
There's another strike against you, dude.
But dude,
I'm screwed.
Like you're almost in the there. 2 of them are Canadian, so that's something, I guess.
It's racist.
Maybe you're
against
just mixing
Canadians. That's what it is.
I love Canadians though.
Shout out to all our Canadian fans.
What's up? I know of one.
I don't think he's ever watched any of this. So.
He knows about it. I mean, that's good enough.
Is it? Okay. Hi, Ross. Get back to work.
Yeah.
Mention him in one episode and we'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's going to want royalties at some point.
Dang it.
Yeah, that sounds like Ross.
We'll split
royalties. Monetize our YouTube channel and give him a couple pennies.
We'll split 0 4 ways.
Wait, does Canada have pennies?
No, they got rid of the actual penny.
Yeah.
We'll just give him some Dogecoin or something.
Okay.
That'll keep him happy.
Well, that's on you. I'm not volunteering anything.
But yeah, no, the 7 Ways to Bacon, the whole just like an all-star cast that we already brought up. It's just fantastic how well they work together too. Gary Sinus is, I think, I don't know if
he's. Did you call him Sinus?
Yeah, isn't that how you pronounce his name?
Denise.
Oh my gosh,
oh, man!
Wait,
Gary nasal passage.
I'm so screwed on this episode.
Yes, you are.
We're going to start bleeping out things, and people are going to think you're swearing instead of just saying people's names wrong or other things wrong.
We're going to get a strike against us for copyright somehow.
And then later on, we're going to be like, release the JHoN cut.
We're going to have like all 54 people emailing us. We demand the JHoN cut now.
And the JHoN cut will be played as if you're listening to it on a 1950s radio.
Yeah, put it through some effects.
I can do that.
Mono instead of stereo.
Yeah.
Mono instead of stereo.
And then we're going to turn the frequencies down so it literally sounds.
And then we're going to call it art.
Yep.
Which is fine.
It is art.
Everything's
for those of you that don't get it, that's a dig at the 4:3 aspect ratio.
I don't know if that helps. Okay, so back to the movie.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll let somebody else go first so that I can butcher an actor's name in 10 minutes instead of right now.
Well,
we need to spread this out.
Ed Harris. I think you already
I've
said
got
it.
him. Got him down.
Hey, did you know that Clint Howard is in this movie?
Clint Howard, no way. And stuff. He's amazing. So was Herbert. What? Okay, Herbert Jefferson Jr. was also in this movie. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't know who that is.
It's Boomer.
No,
It's Boomer
yeah.
from the old Battlestar Galactica. He was the reporter at the very end when he was explaining re-entry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I used to watch the old school Battlestar Galactica when I
Love
was
it.
homesick from school. It was the greatest.
I have them all on DVD.
That dates me and dates you guys, hopefully.
I haven't said anything, but at the same time, like I think your only place of getting culture is when you're sick from school.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
seems to happen a lot.
Yeah.
That I was fairly good at faking sick. It was great.
All right. Fair enough.
I think at some point my parents probably caught on, and then it became too much of a pain in the butt to try to like call me out on it. And they're like, "Yeah, the grades are good enough. Whatever, stay home."
Yeah, game
And they want to see how
game.
elaborate I get.
Oh my goodness.
Now that I think about it, I'm sure they knew, and they just let me get away with it.
Yeah, been there, done that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, is there?
What?
What else?
Oh,
is
there's a
there?
lot. We just got sidetracked talking
Yeah,
about
we did.
actors and stuff, which is fine. But we've Apollo 13 has become like this seed for starting every conversation about anything but Apollo 13.
This
Pretty
is
much.
pretty much the anti-Apollo 13 podcast. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, but go back to the movie. That was my segue, by the way. I thought the humor in this was great. There's no humor. No, it's the special effects. I want to just call that out that they were amazing. I mean, there's some CGI in here, and it's like old school stuff, man. 95 CGI in it, they still made it look pretty good. What's up with that? I don't know. It's just really well done, and
What part was CGI?
all of it.
Well,
What?
I'm just joking. It's not CGI.
Tom Hanks isn't real.
Okay.
There's
Now-
not a
now
piece
we're
of it. It's
definitely-
all done like Star Wars type way, and something that.
I mean, they did the exact way that they faked the moon landing. So, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really have to do much. Ron Howard didn't have to do much except for rent the same studio.
Yeah,
so.
pretty much.
Play the same VHS
Um,
back, yeah.
Wow, that was a high definition VHS I just watched.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So I think it's an excellent film, and it's an excellent look at the time in American history for sure, and just space history in general, at what we were able to accomplish as a species in 1970. And looking at what we accomplished now, I think it's a good piece for sitting there and ruminating, like, because you especially now, and
That's a
I think
good
this is
point.
one of the reasons the film ages well, is especially now you look back and it highlights the technology in a lot of different ways of the time. I think Ron Howard did that on purpose, and highlights technology and highlights what they had to work with, which wasn't our cell phones have more processing power than
Dude,
the
there's
majority of them that are
calculators in
Android.
the 90s that had more power than like our TI-86s.
Processing power, yeah.
Yeah, no processing power than those things. What's crazy is I was watching a YouTube video by Adam from the Mythbusters, Adam Savage.
Adam Savage.
And he's a huge space guy, and they went I think it was Adam Savage. Anyways, he went it's either that or Veritasium to the space museum, and they showed one of the computers that would have been on the Apollo 13 spacecraft, and how every one of those circuit boards, memory banks were all hand woven, like the memory to make like a bit. They were intricately like wired. No two were alike. They had lots of like um, men and women putting these things together by hand, soldering and different things. It's just incredible that these things even worked. That they did what they did to go to the moon. I mean, come on. Because I had a similar thought, John. You know, when they showed like those computers, especially those little green screens, and all they're doing is just inputting calculations and stuff. I mean, and yet they're still using a slide ruler to do some of these calculations. I mean, and they're not. I'm sure the movie's not far off on that at all when it comes to them doing these massive calculations with a slide ruler.
The slide ruler moment was them transferring data information between the two modules.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, they had to transfer. When they say transfer the data, what they mean is take the readout, do the math necessary to put the correct information into the landing module, and they have to do that by hand. There is no network. There's no, let's transfer the program. When they mean transfer the program, they mean transfer the calculations. That's why they had to do it by hand. And that's the cool part of it. That is like they were implementing this stuff on the fly, and they're like, okay. And then it was kind of cool, like everybody just getting out their pens and papers and figuring it out and backing up, his math and stuff like that. I thought that was again, a small hero moment for the flight crew.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, and then it highlights all the redundancies built in the system too, and like how much work they had to do to even make sure that it was safe enough for people to be on there. And they had to, they faced a lot of things all the time. They talk about the fire a lot. And I think that was the Apollo 11 capsule was the fire. I'd have to double check that. No, not Apollo 11, Apollo 12. I want to say
it was 12. Yeah.
So it just, I don't know. It wove a tapestry of I'm trying to think of a good way of putting it.
Well, I think while you're thinking about that, the thing that I always enjoy about Apollo 13 and movies or shows like it is seeing smart people be competent, and overcoming that type of stuff. Because it's like, there's some luck and stuff like that, but it's mostly people working hard at a problem and being creative and figuring it out and doing it under a time pressure with lives on the line. It's like that's just drama. That's just like the best drama.
I was going to bring up a similar thing about that right along that exact same line, Crit, about like it's amazing to see them just pull ideas out of air. Like they didn't have a book to make those carbon scrubbers work from the LEM to the, or go between the flight module and the LEM. And yet they worked it out with the stuff they had. I mean, this whole show, they're doing that the whole time, working on the fly and just using their genius, their ingenuity. They're basically just like you're saying, they had learned this stuff so well that it just took time to work it out and get it working. And it just shows on how much, how good these people were at their jobs.
Well, I think... Go ahead. Okay, well, I think that segues into what I wanted to say with regards to the tech and all that cool stuff. What that did was create a framework, and it was a frail framework, and it, you feel like this could have fallen apart at any single moment. Look at this old tech. Look at these old numbers. Look at all the stuff they have to do by hand. This could fall apart at any moment. And Ron Howard, I think, used that and then shoved it, like just, rammed home the people, like you said, these hero moments, ramming home that, yeah, this is how shaky and shoddy, and not shoddy, but shoddy is the wrong word, but this is how shaky and how fast this foundation can crumble. Look at the people and what they're doing to keep it going. Like that's what you have to pay attention to.
Well, and it's also kind of a, I mean, it's not really a commentary. The film isn't really making that commentary, but this is what happens when you kind of, steep people in the subject matter that are, have to be smart to even get into the program, have to prove that aspect. But beyond that, it's like, this is what they eat, sleep, and dream about. And so it's like showing them being competent in it. They're not coming out of, their ideas aren't coming out of nowhere. They're working with what they know and what they have. But I mean, it's super complex. It's it's basically being so involved in the process. I mean, these guys, the astronauts know so much about that machine that they're operating. Even though they didn't build it themselves, they know kind of how every part of that system mostly works, and that's a complex system, no matter what. You know, and that's always kind of exciting to see. Is like I said, that kind of that competency on display. I mean, it's a movie. It that they meant for that to be the case. That's what they wanted the film to do, and it did it successfully. So, but at the same time, it is enjoyable to watch. And there's my take on the movie. Apollo 13, it's enjoyable to watch. It's
That's our tagline.
yeah, I guess so. It's terrible.
Oh, in this episode, we discuss how it was a good movie to watch.
And whether or not it'd be worse or better with John Travolta.
And then butcher lots of celebrity names.
Yeah, and then, pop singers from the 90s.
Yeah. Oh, well. Okay, so was it Reba McEntire in Little Rascals?
What?
Or Celine Dion? Okay.
What?
I'll later. Don't worry about it. Cut it out.
Whoopi's in it.
We're not
Whoopi's
cutting anything.
Well, because you told me I have Celine Dion and Reba McEntire messed up, and so now I'm questioning my entire world of who I assume Reba McEntire and Celine Dion were.
Are.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, did they die?
No, I don't think so. Wow.
Okay.
Okay. So anything else we need to cover about Apollo 13, the movie, about people?
No, I think we're good. I don't have anything else. Do you guys?
No, I'm good.
No, I'm golden.
Like Pony Boy? Be golden, golden boy. Pony Boy. All right.
Crickets.
What's that?
Nothing. Go ahead.
All righty then. Let us talk ratings then.
Mm-hmm.
Would you guys? Let's see. I'll give mine. I'm going to give it 9 out of 10 bags of urine, and I would buy this movie.
I can't tell if that's a good rating or a bad rating. Like, I guess it depends. Depends on your idea or your view on urine. I guess. Is this urine to pass drug tests? Like, I'm confused. Like, it could be good urine or bad urine.
Oh yeah, it's good urine.
Okay. All right.
John,
I would watch this. I would watch this with my mom. In fact, I have before, and it's excellent. Excellent film.
Awesome.
All right. I'll give it 23 out of 27 frozen hot dogs.
I almost rated mine as the hot dogs too. I actually had it written down. That's so funny. Then I switched it to the bags of urine.
I mean, come on. It is like the moment of the film.
Yeah, it is.
And banging the hot dog on the railing.
Stick it under your armpit to warm it up. It'll be fine.
I guess that's better than sticking it other places. So yeah.
Yeah. Stick it in your pocket, All right, Kurt.
Okay.
Let's talk about your picks.
Okay. Number 1. Who knew that nerds could be so snarky?
Okay.
Number 2. When the truth must be exposed. And number 3. Rough times call for rough people.
I'm leaning far towards the nerds being snarky one.
So was I.
Is that what you're going with?
I think that's
your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Then number 2 is When the Truth Must Be Exposed. Spotlight.
Oh, such a good movie.
All right. And Rough Times Call for Rough People. Tombstone.
Oh, damn it. I got to bleep that out. Shoot. That is one of my all-time freaking favorite films of all. Oh,
This is the second time we
I
tried to
hate
get
my
it on the
life
podcast.
I know.
All right. Who knew that nerds could be so snarky? The Social Network.
Oh,
Okay, that's not too bad.
no, it's not bad at all. I've actually only seen that movie once a long time ago. I don't remember it very well.
This will be fun.
It's Jesse Eisenberg being fantastic.
There's a lot of talk about in that, though.
There's a lot of what?
There's a lot to talk about in it.
Oh, yeah. We get to bring up all sorts of stuff in that one.
Yeah. No, I'm excited
Yeah.
to see it. I wanted to watch it again because the first time I saw it, I just didn't stick in my head too well. So this will be a good one. But Tombstone.
I know. You guys messed
Yeah,
up.
Shoot. Well,
Nah,
you
it's
should have made
okay.
the first title so appealing to nerds
I tried to make
by putting our name in it.
Fair enough. I guess I could put nerd in every single one of those. Like
Western
news
nerds.
Western nerds. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Social Network it is. And stuff. I can't wait to watch it. And stuff. It's got Justin Timberlake in it. And stuff.
Yeah, he does a pretty good job.
He does.
But I guess we'll find out.
I just watched
Well,
him.
we
I just
think-
watched him in that show. What is it? Out of Time, or where he has
Yeah,
the time on his wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did okay in that. Anyways,
With a little
In
wild-
Time. That's what it's called. In Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, in time.
Well, we get to talk about Justin Timberlake next time
Yay!
on Josh's Wonderful World of Podcasts
Thank you, and stuff
on the Siqueiros Podcast Network.
Yeah, exactly, and stuff. I might be getting a new person signed up today that I talked to. So
Shout out to them, I guess.
A new
Yeah.
person signed up.
what's that?
Like you're gonna be hosting their podcast.
No. I talked to someone
this a
today that they
multi-level
found out
marketing
about my podcast and
You get 3 people that make a podcast, and then they get 3 people,
3 people that make a podcast.
and then your
We get
subscribers
affiliate-
flow upline.
Oh man.
So if-
I better start working on our compensation plan.
if my
Yeah,
buddy
'cause
from
it's pretty lackluster right now.
Jeez, our compensation plan. So yeah, if my friend Tom out there from the mission subscribes, thanks for subscribing to it. If not, we're missing you.
Oh, that's what you meant by signed up. I'm like, that's
Oh,
a
yeah, it's-
weird way to call a subscriber, but all right.
No.
He signed over his soul to us.
That's what it takes to
Not
be
a
a
big deal.
subscriber. Can't just click the button.
I entice him with our podcasts and Taco Bell reviews. I mean,
What's that R? That's all you, babe.
well, it's me, but I always told you guys are welcome. I mean,
Yeah, that's not really my wheelhouse.
I know. I knew what you're gonna say.
I eat one thing from Taco Bell.
What's that?
That's it.
I'll just unless John joins and continues to say things wrong, I just want to be able to pop in every once in a while and be like, "That's not."
No, it's
what are you talking about?"
quesadilla, not quesadilla.
I thought it was quesadilla. No.
It's Leviosa.
Leviosa. That one always got me.
All right.
All right, guys. To everybody out there listening, thank you for listening to our podcast. Thank you for putting up with our remarks, good or bad. John.
Wow, thanks for that.
Call out. Yes.
I'm just calling you out, dude. Like you take it as good or bad. I don't know. And if you like what we put into the podcast, please comment below about John. And
I'm fine with that. If you want to talk about me, that's good for me.
and as always, may you be excellent to each other and live long and prosper from all of us here at Josh's House of Nerd. Good night.
Thanks for watching. For more nerdy awesomeness, please like and subscribe and check out our other nerdy videos.